How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with another FPL stream. It's Game Week 21 time. Game Week 20 just finished over the past few hours with Liverpool's thumping defeat over Jose Mourinho's Spurs 3-1. And funnily enough, none of the important assets in that game actually scored. Kane went off injured. Son didn't get anything. Salah had a goal disallowed. Son had also a goal disallowed as well due to a minor offside. And if the stream were to go out by any chance, it's because my power went out, because we have some bad weather in the area right now, a lot of wind, so if the power goes out, nothing really I can do about it. So hopefully it holds up, and hopefully things go well. If you're watching this over on YouTube, we will be doing another stream for the deadline stream. That'll be 2 days from now. We'll be up 1 hour before the deadline, so make sure to come check us out over there and give us a follow over on Twitch so that you can see when we do go live there, and follow us over on Twitter so you can get any updates, much like this one if my power to go out by any chance, but knock on wood that doesn't happen. As well as subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave comments in the comment section, all that good stuff. You guys know how it's going on. Hey man, says Mono, how'd you get on? Pretty good actually, a very big green arrow for me this week, so I'm definitely happy about that. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So fingers crossed everything holds up. Hopefully my power stays on at least for the full stream. Wouldn't like it to go out with such a good basic good green arrow, but if we were to go out prematurely, what I'll do is basically just set up the stream for tomorrow and finish off how we went. And then what I'll do with the VOD is I'll kind of just mesh them together, and you might see me in a different set of clothes or something like that. It'll look kind of funny on the YouTube side of things, but they should come over to Twitch so they can get the live view of it as well. So hopefully things stay well. But 72 points, as you can see over on, I don't know how to do it. That side over up there. 72 points with a -4 makes it 68 points. It's a green arrow from 1.13-ish million or something like that to just inside the top 800k, which is fantastic. I haven't been so nervous in my life for a single game, and it was the City game, and it was pretty nerve-wracking seeing all three defenders still on the pitch after Pep made all the subs. And there was still no goals conceded for City, and it's very nerve-wracking. But what I have to tell myself is, if they do concede, it is what it is. And if they concede, they concede, and then I don't have to worry about clean sheets for the rest of the whole week, apart from my goalkeeper. In which case, Martinez is just going to tick over. He's just going to stay there pretty much the whole season. But yeah, 72 points, 68 with the -4. Thought I would have beaten you in points this week, but I didn't. No, my team did very good, even with the captaincy blank, which is, I think, my 6th of the season. So I think I have 15 out of 21, or 15 or 14 out of 20. So I have like a 70 to 75% chance success rate on the captaincy. 63 points for me, that's a good score. 60 for Mono. Annoyed with the Salah goal, yeah, and Bruno captain, yeah, it was a bit unfortunate. 27 points on my bench. I've seen a lot of massive bench scores this week, so like even me, the second. So I don't know if anyone follows Let's Talk FPL, a great FPL channel as well. He goes by the name of Andy. The second I saw him have Chris Wood in his team, I'm like, if Souček scores, okay, cool. But Chris Wood is definitely scoring this week, and I knew it. And Bamford got hooked at 59 minutes. I'm like, oh, it's definitely happening. And then Chris Wood ends up scoring the winning goal versus Villa, which is just how it's gonna go. But yeah, that'd be the only complaint I have for the week, would be Chris Wood over Bamford. Would have got me an extra 7 points, so I'd have been sitting on 75 after the hit, which would have been even better. But can't complain with the rank this week. Also, my hit paid off. Brought in John Stones. He got me 6 points. Son got 2 points, which would have been 8 points overall. -4, that leaves 4 points left. And the person that I would have played over De Bruyne would have been Kufal, who would have got 1 point, which would have been 3. And then Robertson ended up with just 2. So I ended up net 1 point up. So why Kufal over Wood? Wood is an offensive player. I just thought Crystal Palace is just so bad. I mean, I knew all my players were going to play pretty much anyway. But yeah, there's something like where I just don't like my attackers going up against my defenders. In this case, it'd be my goalkeeper. But they ended up conceding, 3 anyway, which wasn't ideal. But he wouldn't have came in anyway. Followed Andy from the beginning. Living local here in Ireland. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's great. He's one of the main people that I watched for a lot of my early FPL days when I didn't know much about the game. Burnley and Sheffield United shocked. Yeah, yeah, it was actually. Had TAA, Souček, and Gundogan. Yeah, if you had TAA, so I can imagine teams. So if you had Cancelo, another City defender, TAA, Souček, Gundogan, Rafinha, and like whoever else, Antonio as well. Like you were looking, you probably have a ridiculous score this week. Like who like what's the big score this week? 121. Yeah, see this guy triple captain Cancelo, which is insane. Had Lacazette 11 points, Sterling, Souček, Areola was another one. Dawson 9-pointer as well. There's a lot of teams that can definitely do well. But yeah, a lot of people are like myself I got rid of Robertson, who only got 2 points anyway, so I'm happy about that. I'm definitely happy about that. And we brought in John Stones, and we got 3 clean sheets. Literally, the hit is already paid off for itself. Now it's just a matter of will City keep clean sheets versus Sheffield United, and Burnley versus Liverpool keeping clean sheets versus West Ham and Brighton. I think so. So I had Rafinha and Saka on the bench, Kane, Son, Bruno, Salah, and Bamford blank. Yep, that's rough. That's rough. This week I couldn't choose between Rafinha and Souček because I thought they both had fantastic fixtures. So I just said, screw it, I'm going to play both of them. And it paid off. Unfortunately, I should have played Wood over Bamford, but that's hindsight. And if I was going to play Rafinha, I was definitely playing Bamford as well. I just didn't expect Bamford to get hooked at 59 minutes. And we'll get into it later on. I have a decision to make whether I play Bamford or not over Rafinha this week. I had to choose between Bamford and Rafinha. If that's the case, honestly, I'd pick. It's tough to call. It is hindsight, but usually I would pick a midfielder, especially if they're in form. So like Rafinha has been quite good. Do we know the situation of Kane's injury? I know he was holding his ankle. He went down holding his knee. Kane out for weeks after injuring both ankles. A few weeks. So that's a few game weeks. So he might not even be back for the double game week, which is a big blow for Spurs. But that means Son's playing up top. So, yeah. Liverpool tried to kill. Yeah, I mean they did actually. Like Thiago was in on him. Wijnaldum was in on him. Everyone was in on him. Bamford has his third most shots in the box, but kind of feel Rafinha's been the better choice, even though he got back. Yeah, I mean Rafinha's just been so heavily like when Leeds break, like Rafinha's like the guy who they look to. So yeah, if you can't beat Kane, kill him. Yeah, pretty much. You just injure him. Yeah, because his ankles are weak because he's had ankle problems in the past. That's been his major long-standing injuries. Has been his ankles basically. So with him being out, do Spurs look like a worse outlet? Potentially. I'm still going to keep Son because Son's going to definitely play through the middle. And even without Kane last season, when they didn't have him for the portion that they did, Son was still scoring. So they just need to find that mix. Son is a no-go without Kane. He can't do the same thing in the front he used to. I don't think I'll get Son. Yeah, if you don't have Son right now, I would say don't get him. But if you still have Son, I would say still hang on to him because he is going to be, in double game weeks. And he is going to be basically playing up front. It's just a matter of can he get the ball. So I think if you're choosing between, midfielders this week, I think Grealish looks good. I'm looking to plan on getting him in at some point. I would look to spend your money elsewhere. So yeah. But yeah, that's my team there. Inside the top 800k, there was a point where it was like 650k, which would have been great. But with a nice game week rank around 120k. I'm just gonna refresh to see if it's changed at all. They haven't updated it yet. So yeah, that's like I said, the only thing. Wood in for Bamford. wouldn't have been too fast there because I wasn't going to play Wood probably, just because he was against my goalkeeper. Obviously, hindsight would have played him over Bamford had I known Bamford would have got hooked off. But this is very frustrating. De Bruyne is out. Kane is out. Vardy is out. Fernandes is bad. Wow, Fernandes played bad, but I don't think he's bad. Salah is bad. Salah has the highest XG out of players that haven't scored over the past 5 game weeks. Jesus doesn't play. Aguero doesn't play. Firmino is horrible. Is there any good choices anymore? Funny you should ask that. There's going to be someone I'm going to be bringing in. And we'll actually do that in just a second after we do our predictions and whatnot. So, I'll be able to guide you through that because I think I have some value picks that maybe people may have forgotten about, going forward. I'm transferring out Kane for Werner. No, it's bold. Don't get mad. Well, it's definitely possible that Werner could do well. I mean, German coach, German player, maybe some connection there. We will see. But in terms of our predictions here, so if you are not familiar with how we do this, if you get the exact score right, 3 points. If you get the result right, so I predicted West Ham to win 2-0 over Crystal Palace. They end up getting the win by a different scoreline. You get 1 point. And if you predict the result wrong, so I predicted a win and they got a draw or loss, then you get 0 points. I got another transfer question. Should I wait for that? I would say wait for press conferences anyway, just because. Yeah. That's how I'm going to do it. Like, I know what my transfer is this week, for sure, but I'm just going to wait just to be sure. Meets Burnley, Spurs, Sheffield, and Newcastle in the next 4. Yeah, it looks fine to me. Yeah. Newcastle lost 2-1 to Leeds. Thought Leeds would have a bigger scoreline there, but they end up getting the victory there, so I got 1 point there. Southampton end up losing to Arsenal 3-1, a bit of a shock result there, so no points there. We predicted the result for City over West Brom. They won 5-0, not 2-0. Aston Villa with a shock loss to Burnley, so no points there. Chelsea and Wolves was a draw, so not much there. Brighton versus Fulham, again, another 0-0 draw, so not much there. Leicester and Everton, another hotly contested draw, so no points there. United, another shock defeat. And Spurs, another shock defeat. So only 3 points. So our predictions were pretty bad this week overall. However, our differential picks were great. We got the clean sheet wrong, which was Leeds. But Mendy kept the clean sheet. So did Zinchenko. I believe Traore scored. Did he score? No, he didn't. I thought he did. Maybe that was the last game. So nothing there, and Cavani didn't score, and I thought he did a little bit better. Anyway, maybe I'm just thinking of things, but yeah, overall not great actually. Now that I think about it, which is unfortunate. To be honest, I think Werner will play in the front the next game weeks. I've had same thoughts. I mean, it's. With Chelsea, I think playing the 4-2-2-2 is the best system that they can play. Whether Tuchel will play that formation, who knows? He favored a 3 at the back in their first game. Reece James has come off injury recently, but he was on the bench. He just didn't feature. So whether he comes in at right wing back or is a rotation risk, we don't know, because he played Hudson-Odoi at right wing back, which was interesting. But yeah, Werner could be a good differential. Basically any Chelsea player could be a good differential. Because like you said, they play Burnley, they play Spurs, and then they play Sheffield United, and then they play Newcastle, and then they play Southampton. So a couple of tougher fixtures in there, but overall not too bad. Werner rested against Wolves, will probably play the next game. Giroud and Abraham played like trash. Yeah, I mean they did. I don't think Giroud. The thing is with Giroud, he needs somebody running it off him. That's why him and Hazard were so good. Hazard was somebody who was able to run in behind, was able to beat players, fed off Giroud really well, and I think that's what Werner kind of wants too. But except less of the kind of beating a player and more of the spin the ball around and put it in behind. And then Werner just has to put away those chances. That's about it. Giroud needs to be alone up top with attacking wings, or a number 10, or like a shadow striker kind of player. Kind of similarly to the way Berbatov and Rooney used to play it. Tuchel really loves Hudson-Odoi, can also be a good pick. I mean, yeah, Hudson-Odoi was rumored to go to Bayern Munich, so clearly there's some interest from the German camps over there. What do we do about Reece James? I would say probably start him this game coming. And then if he doesn't play again, then, you know, unless there's something in the press conference that says he's injured or was on the bench because he's not fully fit or something, then yeah. But I can't see Reece James not playing. Havertz played like Zidane on Wednesday compared to under Lampard. Yeah, I mean, he could do quite well. I might sell Dallas and get Digne in. He's one of the players that I would definitely be looking at had I not had triple City already. But yeah, so in terms of our predictions for this week, let's see if we can get some in the chat. What are we thinking? What are we thinking for Everton versus Newcastle? I'm thinking this is a pretty straightforward game. I'm thinking probably a 2-0. It's probably good, just like Zodiac says. Zach has gone with a 2-0 as well. In terms of your question, Mono, I think the player that I would go for Vardy, it also saves you a lot of money as well, is actually Dominic Calvert-Lewin, which is the player that I'm going to be bringing in for Chris Wood this week. So, assuming he's fit, which he should be. Because they play Newcastle, they then play Leeds, they then play a Manchester United team, which he has got a return in the past game that he played. He got an assist. And then they play Fulham. So, great fixtures. And then he's also potentially could have a double game week in either 23 or 24, depending on how things go. And he's going to have a double, because they still have a fixture to make up versus Manchester City. Now, he's probably not going to score in that, but he might do. Lewin or Watkins, because Watkins might get a double game week in a few weeks. Yeah, DCL, Antonio, Watkins, I would say those three are probably good. I was looking at Kane, but now that Kane's out of the question, we have so much money, we don't even know what to do. Should I hold Vardy on the bench? No. I don't think so. Because if Vardy's out 10 days, so Rogers said Vardy was out 10 days. That means he misses Game Week 20, Game Week 21, Game Week 22, possibly Game Week 23. So he could be missing 3 game weeks or so because of how quick the turnaround is. So I wouldn't be holding him. Should I start Saka or Antonio? Who does Arsenal plays United? Antonio plays Liverpool. I would say Antonio for sure. That's just me. I think Antonio is definitely the one to go for. Between those two, anyway. I just like Antonio the way he's playing. He's just playing so good. Yeah, Saka's playing good as well, but you know, the last Arsenal versus Man United game, it was a penalty. And Arsenal have a few injuries, actually, so could be a bit of an issue for them. Next game is Crystal Palace versus Wolves. What are we saying for this one? Yeah, because Fabinho may be injured. I'm saying Antonio is doing. Yeah, exactly. -8 Kufau to Digne, Kane to Werner. 2-1 in favor of Crystal Palace. I think Crystal Palace might nick this one, you know. I'm going to go with a 1-0 Crystal Palace. That may seem stupid, but I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with a 1-0. Because I think Wolves, like, they didn't score versus Chelsea. Chelsea's defense isn't the greatest, you know, in the world. But, yeah, I just think Crystal Palace is the type of game where they might just be able to see it out. You know, Zaha gets one on the break. Wolves can't really break a team down. And when Palace get themselves organized, they can be pretty stubborn. And Wolves isn't like the team to break them down. Man City versus Sheffield United now. I don't want to spoil it for you guys. I think Zach has got he's on the right track. He knows that they're not Man United. He knows that City are going to take Sheffield United, who are going to be probably super tired because they used all their energy versus United, and they're going to get spanked by City. I think City win this game comfortably. I think 4-0. I think City's style, the way they're playing right now, is so good versus Sheffield United. Because against a team that plays a back three or mostly a back five, what you want to do is you want to basically use the full width of the pitch. And you want to basically move them from side to side, side to side, side to side, until those gaps between the defenders become from 10 yards to 15 yards to 20 yards, and then you can split it through them. That's what you want to be able to do. Scoring a brace versus Burnley. Yeah, if Werner scores, I'd be happy for him. I like Werner as a player. He's just been so low on confidence. I don't think the coaching of Lampard has helped. But yeah. Not more than 4. I usually don't go more than 3, typically. But I'll go 4-0 just to replicate what they did versus just one under West Brom. Because I think Sheffield United are actually slightly better than West Brom at the moment. Burnley on form, yeah. Burnley are on form. Speaking of West Brom versus Fulham. What are we saying here? I think Fulham win this one. I think Fulham win. 1-1 says Zodiac. No. Nah, surely Fulham score, right? I think Fulham win this one. I'm going to go a Fulham 1-0 win. I think Areola, a masterclass, keeps them the clean sheet, and they get their much-deserved 3 points. Because at home, West Brom kind of have to attack a little bit, which will help out Fulham. Arsenal versus Man United. I can see United losing this, you know. Zaka says 2-1 Arsenal. Zodiac says 2-1 United. I think... I don't know. My Norwegian fella Odegaard to score a brace. Wouldn't that be a debut? You'd be like, this Premier League stuff's easy. Whether he starts or not. Well, if... Apparently Smith Rowe came off injured. Somebody else came off injured too. I can't remember who else came off injured. It was Smith Rowe and somebody else came off injured for Arsenal. So yeah, we'll see. When I don't know what the score is going to be, I just put 1-1, honestly. I don't know. United, every time their bubble basically gets popped after a super good run, we go on a bunch of mixed results. So it's like loss, draw, scrape a win, draw. You know, I'm going to go with a 1-1. United need to win the game. They do need to win the game. But I think it's going to be a draw, personally. If you start Cavani, should be good. But you would think that starting Martial up front against Arsenal would probably be the better... Like... Cavani should have started versus Sheffield United because his movement pulls the back three apart. Whereas Martial is probably going to get more space in behind versus Arsenal, which would favor him, you would think. So, yeah, it is what it is. Southampton versus Aston Villa. Both teams coming off a loss. What are we thinking here? Aston Villa to bounce back. Southampton is still without Walker Peters, I think. Bertrand's back, though. 2-2, a 1-1. This was early in the season. I would say Southampton all day, every day. Please no Martial. Yeah, I hope Cavani starts. Honestly, this is what the team. I'm telling you guys now. This is what Solskjaer is going to pick. He's going to pick Shaw at left back, Wan-Bissaka at right back, Maguire and Lindelof as center backs, De Gea in goal, McFred as we call them, which is McTominay and Fred in front of the back four. He's going to play a 3 in front of that. He's going to have Rashford on the left. He's going to have Bruno in the middle. He's going to have Pogba out on the right. And he's going to play Cavani through the middle. That's what he's going to do. Because you can't drop Pogba because Pogba's been fantastic. Bruno's Bruno. Rashford's Rashford. Martial was terrible. And Cavani needs to play. So, yeah. Park the bus tactic against all the big teams. Yeah, exactly. They're called the Energizer Bunnies. But because the last time we played against Arsenal, we played a diamond and didn't do too hot. But I think Fred's energy is good. I would like to... The team that I would like to see would be Wan-Bissaka at right back, Shaw at left back, because Telles just looked kind of out of it. And he needs more of a string of games to do better. And I think Shaw's been in good form in the past few games. I would like to see Maguire and Bay, but I think Bay is injured. So I guess you go with Maguire and Lindelof. De Gea and goal, obviously. Fred and Pogba in the center midfield. I would like to see Bruno in the 10. I would like to see Rashford out on the right. I would like to see... on the left, sorry. I would like to see Donny van der Beek playing out on that wide right position, and him and Bruno can kind of interchange. But Donny can play exactly how Mata used to play out on the right, except he's better defensively, and not as much of a liability. And then Cavani through the middle. That's what I'd like to see. Every Man United away match, they play like Sheffield United last season. Sheffield United won a lot of those, didn't they, though? That's why the best away team... I think United is probably the best counter-attacking team on form in the world. Probably, if I had to guess. I would say probably Dortmund's up there, although I don't watch a lot of Bundesliga, if at all. But from some of the things that I've seen, Haaland and Sancho and these sorts of players. Bayern as well is also quite scary with Serge Gnabry, Kingsley Coman when he's playing. They have Leroy Sané now, so that's... I haven't even seen what... I know that Lewandowski scored 1 billion goals this season, but yeah. But getting back to Southampton versus Aston Villa, I think a 2-1 Aston Villa. I think they'll bounce back. But, yeah. I think United away from home is they have more inquisition to kind of defend, which is why McTominay and Fred will play. Yeah, United needs to be more clinical. That's the problem. And Bruno's been not great recently. He played really well versus Liverpool, but all the games around that haven't been good. Chelsea versus Burnley. What are we saying here? Tuchel gets his first win? Or Tuchel? 3-0? I don't think... I mean, well, Burnley conceded a couple versus Aston Villa. Also, Turf Moor is a different proposition. 1-1. Interesting. Yeah, Liverpool showed why they're champions. They definitely did bounce back. Mind you, Spurs defending at times today was dreadful. 3-0 for Xhaka, 1-1 from Mano. Personally, I think it's going to be a 2-1. I think Chelsea will probably concede from a set piece, but I think overall they just barely edged out. Dyer is looking more at matches than actually doing anything. Yeah, pretty much. Also, Joe Rodon is quite young. He made a mistake as well. Not the greatest, for the goal was kind of, a mistake, really. And Dyer basically did the same thing. Leicester versus Leeds. What are we saying for this one? I think Leicester should win this one. There's a very easy chance that Leicester could hop over United. If United were to draw and Leicester were to win, I think they hop over United. I think 2-0. The thing is, Vardy is out, so they might struggle a little bit. But I think they still shade it. I think Leicester concede, though. I'm going to go 2-1. I think Leicester have just enough. Yeah, Mono says 2-1 as well. I think 2-1's about fair. West Ham versus Liverpool. West Ham in good form. Liverpool just come off a win versus Spurs. 1-1. 2-1. I think 2-1's about right, I think West Ham will score. Maybe Antonio gets one in the break, but I think overall Liverpool will probably get back to winning ways. Mono says 2-1 as well. So Zodiac, the Liverpool fan, is the one saying 1-1. I think 2-1. I think Salah scores. Like maybe Mane gets on the score sheet as well. Maybe they get one from midfield or something. I think Antonio or some set piece goal goes in for West Ham. Brighton versus Spurs. I think this is a very Spurs game. Even with Kane out, I think Spurs still do well here. Because Brighton play exactly the way... They play like a very, very worse version of Liverpool. Basically. Mono says 2-1. Spurs. Zodiac says 2-1 Brighton. I think I'm going to go 2-1 Spurs. And I think that Vinicius, if he does play, is able to hold up the ball. Does he have the distribution that Kane does? No. But Ndombele is playing in ridiculous form right now. Ndombele went past so many Liverpool midfielders in this game. That they played just versus Liverpool, like they were standing at a bus stop. It was actually hilarious. He's so good. He's so good. And if they can get Son in behind on the break centrally, Son can do some damage, and I think that's how they'll do it. Endom bad boy. He is a unit. Like he breaks a press like I've never, like, it's amazing to watch him actually. Like I saw him playing in France. I'm like, where's this guy been? You know, he was in and out of the team at Spurs, couldn't play long games or whatever, and now he's just literally he gets the ball and it's just like, all right guys, I don't care who's pressing me. He just like feints one way, feints the other way. He's very good at using his body and basically getting around a press. Clean sheet wise this week. So I'm going with Everton. I think Everton will keep a clean sheet. The versus Newcastle should be pretty free. So if you're looking to bring in Everton assets like Keane or Digne or players of of the Everton backline, I think you're going to do quite well. I've also started putting the percentages on how owned they are, so you can see that they're actually differential. So this was just before I went live. I typed this up all the time. But in goal, I'm going to go with Guaita. I just have a funny feeling that Guaita has a masterclass and 3.2% owned. He's, I think, 4.8 million. And I think just Wolves just aren't very good at creating chances or outright. So, and they're not playing with an out-and-out striker. They started with Pedence, who got subbed off. You know, I think Guaita could be quite good. In defense, Areola's another one, but I think Areola is over 5% actually. I'm just going to check that. Areola. Oh no, he's 2.9%. Okay, yeah, that's a good shout. I thought he was a lot more owned than that just because of his double game week goalkeeper. Clean sheet City, since there's no percentage. Yeah, I mean, yeah, City was pretty easy to go for, but I went with Everton just because it was also somewhat easy to go for too. The next one I've gone with is Antonio Rudiger, who is playing for Chelsea now. For whatever reason, he's starting over Kurt Zouma, and there's a German relationship with Tuchel. He likes Rudiger. I think Tuchel wanted him at PSG as well. Digne, is he under 5%? Let's see. Digne is 5.3, so no, he is not, unfortunately. Digne is not under 5%. But Rudiger is 0.8%, and he's 4.5 million. Not many people probably knew that. 4.5 million. So yeah, I think he could be good value. If you're looking for a defender to get in for the next few, that's quite cheap. Rudiger, 4.5 million. It's quite good. In midfield, I've gone with Bernardo Silva. Rudiger not going to play. He's played the last two and looked okay. Plus, there's that German connection. Also, I think that people have finally realized that Zouma, again, Tuchel wants his center backs to be commanding on the ball and be able to play out from the back. Rudiger can do that, and Zouma cannot. When Zouma gets the ball at his feet, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's good in the air, but otherwise than that, not all that good. In midfield, I've gone Bernardo Silva, 1% owned. I think he's 7.4 million. Got 2 assists, and it's going to come from him, Foden, and Gundogan to basically conjure up the goals. So I think Bernardo Silva could be a pretty good differential if you're going for one this week. Obviously, Gundogan's 5.7, I think he is, in terms of price point. So he is less, a lot of people are going to go for him. But I think Bernardo Silva could do quite well, and is playing a little bit more centrally now that he's playing more of that false 9 role. And then lastly, going for Charlison, 4.2% owned. Plays Newcastle this week. Newcastle are pretty bad, so I've gone for Charlison. Could be quite an interesting pick overall. Obviously, a lot of people are going to go with Calvert-Lewin, but a double up between him and Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin, could be quite good this week. And going for the next 4, because they play Newcastle, Fulham, Leeds, and Man United in that run. Batusha said yesterday he just chose to line up out of experience. Okay, yeah, I mean it's possible, but we'll see. I think that German connection could be something that he goes with. And Rudiger he's a differential, 4.5% owned, 0.8% owned, and he's 4.5 million. So could be if he does play and they get a clean sheet, then yeah. Yeah, it makes sense that he benched James, yeah, because James is a less experience, as it were. But yeah, that is the picks and differentials for the week. So, this is how the team lines up this week. Haven't made any transfers, but the one that I'm going to do is, I'm just going to double check that Calvert-Lewin isn't going up tonight for whatever reason. But for interest, players that are potentially going to go up tonight is Raheem Sterling and Harvey Barnes. Antonio is close, so might go up before the end, before the next game week starts. Same with Madison, same with Areola, same with James Justin, same with Mitchell. And then players that could go down is Henderson from Liverpool, El Ghazi, Zuma, Longstaff, Neto, Walker Peters, De Bruyne, Burnley's Taylor, Fornals, Romeu, Ritchie, Alderweireld, Ayling, Konsa, McCarthy. That's the Southampton goalkeeper, McCarthy. And then Doherty, and then Robertson is also close. And then not much else matters, but again, those are estimations as well. Havertz is more experienced than Mount. Yeah, but obviously, in terms of not in the Prem, though, yeah, Xhaka is, Well, if he would have picked it, he would have probably picked Kante if he was available. But obviously, I think Kante was suspended, so that's why he didn't pick him. Oh, Kante was on the bench. Well, I'm surprised he didn't pick him then. Who knows? Maybe he was coming. Well, maybe he was coming back from a suspension or something like that. So I don't know. We'll see. It depends on the system that he wants to play. But yeah. So this is the team as it stands as of now. Martinez will be in goal, even over Johnston. Johnston does play Fulham, but I think that Southampton haven't been scoring very many goals recently. And I think that West Brom have, so I'm going to go with Martinez, who potentially could save a penalty or something. Obviously, the 3 City defenders. We have Souček and Rafinha in there as our budget options. Fernandes, Salah, and Son captain at the moment. Antonio and Chris Wood are up top. We have Bamford on the bench, and the reason being is because Wood is going to get replaced by none other than Dominic Calvert-Lewin. How much do I have in the bank? Well, if I just reset that, remove player, I have 4.4 million in the bank. I can buy a lot of players if I wanted to. So my plan initially, this was before Kane got injured, was Wood out this week for Calvert-Lewin, then bank a transfer in 22, and then in 23 was to get rid of Bamford and bring in Harry Kane, who's now injured, obviously, and then get rid of Mo Salah, and then I could bring in basically any midfielder I wanted to, and that was probably going to be Jack Grealish. which would leave me 2.6 million in the bank. So, yeah, that's what I was going to do. Now that that's changed, because Kane is out, and if we know more potentially tomorrow, which I'm hoping for, to see how long Kane is out. If Kane's out 4 to 6 weeks or something like that, then we could be changing up our plans. We could be starting to spend some of that money because we have the wild card. So some players that should be on everyone's radar. So obviously Aston Villa, you have Jack Grealish. Target is another good defender, 4.7 million, has been getting assists and been doing quite well. Obviously, like we said, Jack Grealish. Ollie Watkins, a cheap forward that's doing quite well. Good replacement for Bamford, who's been out of form. Bamford's fixtures also aren't great. Leicester away, Everton at home, Crystal Palace at home, Arsenal away. Not the greatest run of fixtures, and hasn't been informed. Is getting subbed early now, which is, not ideal for him. Tuchel said, no, it was a completely unfair team lineup. I had no reason to bench the players who were benched. I made choices based on experience because I thought that if a club like Chelsea changed the manager in the middle of the season and is in 9th place, I don't know how it will affect the young players. I put the responsibility on the most experienced players. Okay, so that makes sense. So he could play basically a completely different team come this week. So we'll see. We will see. But, Rudiger might play. Who knows? He probably would have still liked having Tomori there, who's a younger player. So, because he likes, bringing through talent. Everyone can play, yeah. For Chelsea, obviously the players that are probably most likely to, going forward, obviously Reece James. We know how good he can be. Only 6.8% owned. Depending on how he gets Pulisic playing. He liked Pulisic at Dortmund. Played him quite a lot. Although Pulisic played on the right, which was interesting. And then Timo Werner. If he gets Werner firing, then you can just, he can do quite well. And Giroud at 6.7 million could be a bit of a shrewd pick, depending on if he plays week in, week out. Probably a bit more of a risk, though. For Leicester, obviously when Vardy should be, it says he's back February 7th, which is for game week 23. So it's after their good fixtures, which isn't great. So overall not the best. But Iosi Perez, 6 million midfielder, could be good. But yeah. Who else we got here? Obviously Madison and Barnes could be good. Obviously if Liverpool get their act together. When is Jota supposedly back? February 3rd, so he's back soon. Could be back for the Brighton game. Whether he starts or not, that's a bit of a different story. But Liverpool's a bit up and down at the moment, so we'll have to see on that front. Man City, obviously there's a bunch of different players you can get from here. But like De Bruyne is supposed to be back February 21st, which is the Arsenal game, Game Week 25. So he might be back for the doubles, which would be good. Who else we got here? Not looking for anyone from United. Spurs, obviously if Carlos Vinicius is starting, then obviously a 6.9 million striker would not be too bad. But overall, I think the assets are going to be at Everton. So you got Digne, who's 6 million. You got Keane, who's 5.1. James Rodriguez, still 7.7. Not too bad there. Calvert-Lewin is 7.6. Richarlison is 7.8. So Calvert-Lewin is still 28.5% on, which is interesting. Yeah, overall could be very, very interesting. I'm half tempted to actually back my decision and go for Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison over the next four. And just let it ride. As just a differential. Now that I think about it. Then what would I have? I would have nothing to do. Why Richarlison? He played left mid last game, not even on the wing. Right mid. Well, it depends, because if they, I think they have. So Decore was suspended. So it depends on what Ancelotti says. So he'll have Decore back. Alan is supposedly back for this game. Supposed to be. So if he gets Alan, Gomez, and Decore back in the midfield three, and has James, Richarlison, and Calvert-Lewin, then we'll see. But that could be something. But let's say I just don't do. Let's say I don't do anything. In 22, 23, kind of want to play Souček. Rafinha has Crystal Palace at home in 23. Salah has Man City. We'll see. If I were to do this, I would have Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison. I play all three of these guys up front. I would play Salah, Fernandes, Son. And then I probably play Rafinha. I don't want to have to make this decision. I don't want to have to make this decision. It's tough. But yeah, I think that the transfer will be Calvert-Lewin for sure. And then now that Kane's out, probably one of my City defenders will probably go for like Stones as an example, would go for Digne because they'll have a double, and then I can upgrade or change out one of the midfielders. So I can go like in the double, I can go Salah to Sterling or something like that. Can't find room for midfielders at the moment. I got Salah, Fernandes, Gundogan, Souček, and Maddison. Yeah, there's a lot of midfielders at the moment. A lot of midfielders. There's so many. Like if you just look at the all players, midfielders, you got Fernandes, Son, Salah, Grealish. Zaha's been doing decently well. Has a pretty decent run of fixtures. Sterling's got a goal and an assist, and it's basically an easy way back to Kevin De Bruyne. Rashford, if he's fit, can be, good. Barnes has been doing quite well. Maddison's been doing quite well. Saka, Gundogan, all been doing well. Even Phil Foden is in there. But if you look at the attackers, who besides Antonio and Watkins score? Not really any. Well, recently not really any, but I think Calvert-Lewin is going to be the one that breaks that again. Kane's obviously been scoring in terms of the forwards. But if you look at the points, like a lot of the midfielders are close in like points up the top. But if you look at the forwards, it's like Kane and then it's just Vardy and then everyone drops off. Yeah, I think depending on how long Kane's injury is, it could be a bit of a bad thing. When Kane, Vardy, and Jesus are fit, it looks different. Yeah, exactly. It's a bit different. We just don't really have any major forward options. Like the forward line, the kind of the template forward line at the moment is pretty much like it's going to be Antonio. Bamford's in there. Watkins is in there. People are going to go to Calvert-Lewin. People either have Kane or we're going to go to Kane. Danny Ings is there. The problem is that he suffered with injury and doesn't have the greatest run of fixtures here. But if you're looking after the fact, from 27 to 20 to 31, he's looking good as well. Sheffield United, Brighton, Burnley, and West Brom could be quite good. Yeah, the forwards just don't look great. DCL/Ings, we were kind of hoping we'd do something, but it doesn't look like it at the moment. Yeah, I think DCL versus Newcastle would do well because they're very bad at defending set pieces and just defending in general. Same with Leeds. Man United are bad at defending set pieces, and Fulham aren't the greatest at set pieces either. And neither are Liverpool, to be fair. So I think DCL could be a good option. Maybe a good captaincy option this week, too. If I brought in DCL, he'd probably be my captain this week. Could be. With Kane out, now kind of 50-50 on captaining Son. So it could be a bit dicey there. But yeah, there's a lot of important assets that are out. Vardy's going to be back for 23 though, which is kind of adds some more value back in. If you want to basically have a Kane segue, you can have Vardy in, or just leave funds in the bank, which kind of doesn't feel good. I don't feel like I have a captain this week. Well, I mean, we can. I'm having a captaincy video coming out tomorrow if I'm able to obviously record it. The power's held up good, so we're okay for now. But you can say Calvert-Lewin is probably good versus Newcastle. City assets again, like Captain Cancelo could be good this week. Could be good. Sterling, if you have him. Gundogan, if you have him. Fernandes away to Arsenal is still okay. Grealish versus Southampton is an outside shout. Even Salah Mane versus West Ham could be okay, but not explosive. Like, there's no one really that's standing out to me that's like, yeah, that person's guaranteed. Like, they're looking good for a double digit figure haul this week. And then another thing that will put me off Captain and Calvert-Lewin would be plays Newcastle in the first game, and that would be just terrible. Go out there and your captain blanks. That wouldn't be ideal. First game of the week. I'd rather put it on somebody who plays at the very end. But yeah. Maybe Cancelo captain, I don't know. But then if he doesn't start, then you're really, it's really rough. Cancelo, Chilwell, Sterling, Chilwell, interesting. We don't know when Raul Jimenez is back. When's Danny Welbeck back, actually? He was good for a little while. But yeah, my team, if I bring in Calvert-Lewin, basically the captaincy options is basically Calvert-Lewin, Son, Fernandes, maybe Salah, and then Cancelo. Like, how reliable is Cancelo's attacking returns? He's only got that goal, that assist, and then one other assist this season, and he could be benched randomly. Welbeck is probably better at Brighton than he is in the last 5 seasons. Yeah, I mean, true. Probably true, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, if we're looking at statistically, like, Salah should have scored by now. Salah should have scored, and he scored twice versus United in the FA Cup, and he had a goal disallowed tonight because Firmino decided to hand the ball. So Salah and Firmino can still score. Son can still score. It's just a matter of they all don't look great on paper, and usually when that happens, one of them does really good, and the rest of them do like eh. And if you captain that one really good player, you go straight up the ranks. You get a nice big green arrow. And I think if I had captain Cancelo this week, I would have ended up with an additional 17 points or 15 points. So I'd have been looking real good. If we go for stats, Bamford could be a captain, third highest shots in the box, hard to keep clean sheets against Leeds. But I wouldn't dare. Yeah, I wouldn't dare either, especially when he got subbed off early. That is a worrying sign for me. That is a worrying enough sign for me that he could potentially be benched in the next game. That's what that says to me. Because when Helder Costa started getting hooked early, it was only a matter of time before Rafinha took his place. So we'll see. But yeah, he could end up getting benched, or just not doing anything at all. They are also versus Leicester, who are quite good defensively. But I feel like this week is going to be. Oh, excuse me. I feel like this week is going to be a quite low point scoring week. The beginning of the season, but not really as planned. Bamford should be further. Yeah, I mean, yeah. But he does all the things that Bielsa wants out of him. He presses well. He never stops running. He never stops trying. So I guess that's what you're gonna get, really. But yeah. But if I had to put my money on like top 3 captains this week, I would say Fernandes away, just because of Fernandes away, is probably gonna be top. Then probably Salah. And then probably Son. But yeah, Gundogan should be in there, but I'm not sure I dare it, even though I have him. I mean, yeah, it depends on your team. I mean, Gundogan looked like a good shout last week. Probably put the captaincy on in this week, but it just seems so wrong to do. It seems like, oh, he's 5.5 million. How can I captain somebody like that, you know? Like, if somebody would have told me Rafinha is going to get a double-digit hole and Fernandes is going to blank, who are you captaining? Or, obviously, if knowing that information, I'd captain Rafinha. Even though he is a very cheaply owned player and wouldn't likely be a captaincy option. But it's just a matter of doing it. Basically, those decisions is what determines, you know, whether you get things right and get the points. Gundogan in general is a defensive player, even though he plays like a defensive midfield. Yeah, I mean he's been playing in like a front 4, like an interchanging like front 4, front 5, because Cancelo kind of shifts into his position in central midfield, and it's basically acting like a playmaker. So that's how he's getting into the box. So, but yeah. He's kind of playing like Souček did for West Ham, like when he was scoring week in, week out. Like, I know he scored a brace recently, but just getting in the box when you need to and scoring. That's what he's been very good at. So yeah, I'm actually gonna wrap it up there anyway, so because we're going on an hour, and I'm glad that the stream held up. So thank you for joining in, Zodiac, and I'm just gonna let's go to the big screen here after we just take one final look at the team. So it's Martinez in goal, Cancelo, Stones, Diaz, Souček, Fernandes, Salah, Rafinha, Son captain at the moment. That's probably gonna change maybe. Antonio and Chris Wood with Bamford, Kufal, and Holding on the bench. Martinez over Johnston because West Brom have been conceding a lot and Southampton don't score very many, so that's the decision I'm going with there. Chris Wood is most likely going to become Calvert-Lewin, and he could become our captaincy option for this week. So yeah, that's the team there. Let's go to the big screen. So yeah, that's going to do it for the Game Week 21 preview. If you haven't done so already and you're watching this over on YouTube, make sure to come check us out for the deadline stream for Game Week 21. We will be back this Saturday on Twitch, 1 hour before the deadline, so make sure to come check us out over there. Also drop us a follow and subscribe, all that good stuff on all the socials. PilotFlame226, as you can see below me. Give it a search over on the YouTubes, on Twitter, on Twitch. You'll find it everywhere. Links are also in the description if you're watching this over on YouTube, as well as they're also in the description over on Twitch as well. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, take care.